All right, how about that one? How about that one? Inject 7 games of that into our veins. My goodness, what's going on, everybody? If you are listening on TuneIn or on iHeart, of course, you can fire us a text, 780-218-9999. Nielson in for Gazzola on the post game tonight. And, boy, I got a good one to talk about, that's for sure. Nasty Chat's already rolling. We'll get to a bunch of those as well. Zulu says, Dusty in studio. I'm surprised. Look, I can't be that loud at home at 11 o'clock at night. Like, I can't be in my basement ranting about this game. So I watched the first period at home, swung on by, watched the second 2 periods with YouTube Trev here at the office. And, boy, we've got lots to discuss. I'm going to start the post game by just telling everybody, calm down. Okay, they're going to play them 2 more times. This is not their last game of the playoffs. They have not just been eliminated. But there's lots of things to discuss, both good and bad, coming from this hockey game. Your thoughts on it to the Nasty Chat. And, of course, you can text us 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. This text says, great game overall. I'll take the loss now and the series win in the playoffs. That one's in from C-Mac today. Fat Dan is in, bringing the heat early once again. They're going to play him 2 more times. In the end, this doesn't really mean that much. I hate to say it. Sorry, NHL regular season. But both these teams are going to the playoffs. They got a point out of tonight's game. This is not the end of the world. You might feel like it, but it's not. You know, everybody's going to get up tomorrow morning and smoke the Habs on Tuesday. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. So let's go. Fire it up, Nasty Chat, get rolling. And, of course, here in the inbox as well, taking a big-time pounding tonight. Rip City Step says, consolation donaires. Well, Trev did have a donaire tonight. Trev had a donaire in the third period of the hockey game. Third period that ended up being pretty darn good. Third period that looked like it was trending in the direction of the Edmonton Oilers. And, unfortunately, that is not how it happened. Fish Tank is in right away. And, we can almost kind of start and work our way back on this one. Big Ukes tuning in from Phoenix. That was a great game to watch, and we could have won just as easily. Great chances by both. Playoff hockey, baby. Bronx is in and says, 29, not getting back in OT. Look, we'll discuss pretty much everything he wants to discuss tonight. That's why we have the post-game show. But, yeah, I mean, I see. It's just like you're sitting there watching the game. Trev and I are sitting here watching the game being like, oh, well, off to a shootout. Like the puck, they try to play it up the ice for McKinnon, kind of bounces into the corner, and it heads down into the corner. And let's be honest, Bouchard let up. I mean, Bouchard let up because he probably was like, oh, there's not enough time to make a play here anyway. Because if not, why else would he have kind of, like, it didn't make sense to me. And he gave McKinnon just enough room because he let up enough to make a play. And Draisaitl. Now, we only had time. I only watched the replay once before we had to come over here and hop on. So they didn't give us a great look at where Draisaitl was when the race sort of started up the ice. You probably have a few more looks at this than I do even at this point. So if you do want to chime in on that one, he was also with Walker and then kind of let Walker go, sort of lost balance, almost maybe a speed wobble or something, the blue line on the first one. And how about Sean Walker tonight? Whew. May have wanted to give up a first for that guy when it was all said and done. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Brelando is in and says they're 7-0-1 last 8 games. They got our number. And what is this? 4 straight overtime games between these 2 clubs. Colorado has now won 3 of them. I think the good news is that you don't play 3-on-3 overtime in the playoffs. So you don't have to worry about that one. Barry the Cheater's in and says, I'm not overly upset. I thought it was a great game. What say you? Exactly. There's no real reason to be furious tonight. You can be disappointed, but there's no reason to freak out tonight. Well-played hockey game. Both goaltenders were outstanding tonight. I thought Skinner was excellent. Georgiev he's a bit of an adventure to watch between the pipes. Like how many of those saves that he made, his feet must have been about, like his legs were like this, and it looked like he was coming out at the shooter, and he just takes up so much of the bottom of the net. does he become an issue for the Oilers in the playoffs? I don't know if I'd say that just because of tonight. Would Colorado fans be saying the same thing about Skinner at the other end? Probably not. But I thought both goaltenders played well tonight. We'll take you through the what are the things that we have to do. I know I watch most of these. Tommy takes through the scoring summary. Trev, you do the player of the game later on for Damon Bunting.
Yes, sir.
All right, and that's kind of it, right? Like,
yeah, we go into the locker room as well.
Oh yeah, we'll get into the locker room, get some locker room clips for sure, and then lots of reaction from you, the fans. So let's whip you through the scoring summary in this hockey game. Sean Walker, his 7th. Man, he skates well, doesn't he? He skates well. Lehkonen and Johnson with the assists. That one came at 10:39 of the second. Fogle just being in front of the net. Bouchard puts one on goal off of Fogel's stick up over top of Georgiev, which is such a hilarious name to say still. I'm still not used to it. Like 2 hard G's in a word. How many other words have 2 hard G's in it at the beginning and the middle? Name another one. Georgiev. Like, I don't think there's another word in the English language that starts with a hard G and has a hard G smack dab in the middle of it. Maybe gargling. Gargling would be one, yeah.
That'd be up there.
Gargamel. But not many at all. Anyway, Fogle tips home his 16th, by the way. 16 goals for Warren Fogle. Could get 20. Could get 20 this year. And then Sammy Carrick. Go to the front of the net, young man, and good things will happen. Who's this guy think he is? Connor Brown gets to the front of the net, grabs that puck, puts it home. 2-1 Edmonton Oilers. 4th line contributes. You're feeling pretty good about things. And then just a really nice play. I thought a really nice play on the game-tying goal that came at 14:40. Walker's 8th, once again, jumps up into the rush. Middlestad finds him with a nice feed. And, he's alone in the slot. Not ideal. But he fires it home, and no chance, I thought, for Stuart Skinner on that one. So, gets to overtime. Makar throws it up the ice. McKinnon doesn't get it cleanly. Rush into the corner. McKinnon gets there. Bouchard watches. McKinnon centers it. Lehkonen scores. And the Oilers, Lehkonen didn't even know this puck went in. He didn't even know. He got to the corner, turned around, was like, oh, what's happening? Is overtime over? Like, no, you won, man. You're good to go. And there it is, 4:59 on the clock. All right, your reaction on a few different things. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Lots of good reaction here. There's a bunch of different places we can look. I see a lot of reaction about Desharnais. I'm going to write that down. We're going to talk about Desharnais. I want to talk about all of the additions that both teams made tonight. Some of them making impacts, some of them not. So we'll get into that a little bit as we work our way through this. Gag. Yeah, I guess there's some, but I don't know. It just seems weird to me still. Georgiev just doesn't sound right to me. And he doesn't look spectacular, but that was a nice save on Nuge. I think everybody in the world thought Nuge was going to be going low blocker, decides to go backhand, never even had a sniff. We need a qualifier for the Vegas trip. Come on, Dusty Jeff, let's not get too carried away here, bud. That's not going to happen. No pre, no post. Next chance to qualify for the Vegas trip on the Nielsen show on Monday morning. What do the Oilers need to do to get a call? Look, it was not like a bunch of the other calls went the other way. I mean, I know the crowd was getting pissed off with a few things, but I didn't have a lot of time for it. Late in the game, Rantanen got taken down one way, then Ekholm got taken down the other, and everybody's like, ah! I'm like, they clearly were just letting them go both ways. That game was not lost or won due to officiating, so don't come in here tonight crying me a river. It's 11:05 on a Saturday night in a regular season game in which I thought it was relatively evenly called. So we're not going the loser excuse tonight of officiating. I mean, if it was completely blatant and one team had 6 power plays and the other team had 1, then I got some time for your chirps and your whines. But I don't think that'll be the case tonight. I'm sorry, you don't blame the refs on this one. Atifa's in and says, "Hey Dusty, I'm sad the Oilers lost, but it was a great game. I enjoyed the 6 o'clocker lager I had as well." And then he says again right after it, I enjoyed the 6 o'clocker lager I had as well. So Atif's had a few of them, I think, tonight. And he went to the Italian Center shop yesterday. Atif, my man. Advertising works with Edmonton Sports Talk. No doubt about it. Seaside Slug says, gargoyle. Yeah, okay, gargoyle. Okay, we can finish with the G thing now. We've learned that there are a lot of other words that have a hard G and a middle and another hard G in the middle. I just feel like the Eeyore in the middle makes it feel weird. Maybe that was it. D. White says, that was a great game, but I wish the refs would have called penalties on both sides. Power plays are a part of the game. Yeah, okay. But Colorado's got a pretty decent power play too. So tonight's game was not determined by officiating. I do not want to have to work a Saturday night this late and sit here and bitch about officiating. Because, Trev, did you think tonight's game was determined by officiating?
No, not at all. Just because the crowd boos does not mean it's a penalty. As a matter of fact, I like it when the refs don't call a penalty when the crowd's booing.
Just try to send a message.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the time the refs are just like, you hear, and they kind of guilt trip the refs into calling something. And so, no, there was a few, like, it went hand in hand. If you call them missed calls, I don't think there were any blatant missed calls. And the one, when Ekholm fell there, like, what? They were just fighting for the puck, and the crowd was just losing their mind. No, like, that's not, what are you going to call there? They're both battling for the puck. So, no, I'm with you, Dusty. I think it's silly when all the booing comes and they're like, oh, why are you doing that? No, it's fine. You want playoff hockey? Well, this is kind of playoff hockey. The whistles go away in the playoffs. So
this was a great hockey game tonight. It came down to 0.5 seconds of overtime, right? There's no reason to freak out tonight. Game Changer Canada says, sorry, Dusty, no too many men call in overtime was a game changer. That was almost a too many men call. I thought in the end, I think Louis kind of agreed that, they were aware of what was happening. Nobody even remotely made a play for the puck. I thought, if that's going the other way and they call it too many men on, it goes the other way on that one, and it's the others you're saying, there's no way that was too many. So let's calm down on the too many men too. It didn't change the game one way or the other. So no, I'm not sitting here we're not going after the officials tonight. That's not a thing. Move on. There's other things we can talk about. We can talk about Desharnais. I think watching Desharnais tonight, you go, come playoff time, right? This is the exact thing we talked about at the deadline, right? What did they do? They went out and got a depth defenseman who may or may actually, I will be honest, against Colorado, Stetcher might be a better fit to play. Just because he skates a lot better. Desharnais looked like it was a little bit too much to have. He's had a great season, don't get me wrong. Desharnais has been very nice for the Oilers this year. But tonight looked a little bit too quick for him, a little bit overwhelming for him. And the good news is you're going to get 2 more cracks at it. Desharnais is probably going to he'll get another crack at it, and then maybe in the last game against Colorado, if Desharnais still looks a little bit too slow for this head-to-head matchup, then maybe in the last game that they play him in the regular season, you give Stetcher a look and see if his speed can make a bit of a difference.
I think maybe that would have been part of the reason why they put him in. I was like, let's see how he lines up with McKinnon coming down.
And see how it is.
And then now they know. They're like, okay, well, Stetcher, you're in next game.
You would prefer to not have him out there against McKinnon. So, yeah, there's that angle that we can discuss here tonight as well. 780-218-9999. But this was a really good example of why fans being disappointed that they didn't upgrade their right side in the playoffs was a significant and valid talking point at the deadline. It was. So you're going to dial back Desharnais' minutes and just give more minutes to Cody Ceci against the Colorado Avalanche? That's probably not ideal either. Now, on Oil Stream on Friday, we went through the head-to-head matchup, and we checked off the forwards box for the Edmonton Oilers. I still think after watching the game tonight, the Oilers have the deeper forward group. They got a goal from the fourth line tonight. Bonus. We gave the check mark to the Colorado Avalanche on the blue line after watching the game tonight. I think everybody would check the box that the Avalanche have an advantage on the blue line. You could make a case that their third pairing right shot D was the most impactful player in the hockey game. Almost had a hat trick in overtime. So kudos to the Colorado Avalanche for picking up Sean Walker. Job well done. And really, Makar, Manson, Walker on your right side. That's good. I mean, that kind of rivals the Vegas Golden Knights blue line. It's up there. It's a good one. And then on Friday, we did give the check mark to Skinner between the pipes. And I thought both guys were great tonight. That might be. And what was a stat tonight? They said in his last so many starts, I think last 9 starts, he had a 9.15, 7.02 maybe, and a 9.15 for Georgiev. Is that a saw-off? Trev, would you think both, is that even, or do you give an advantage to Skinner between the pipes come a playoff series? I think you go forwards Oilers, blue line Colorado, and there's kind of some unknowns with both of the goalies, so that might be a saw-off when it's all said and done. Yeah,
I see both sides. You look at the numbers, maybe you look into experience. I think Georgiev has been in the league a little bit longer, so I think that's one thing you could look at. But as far as the goaltending, I see both sides. You could, if I were to pick, I'd probably just be from the eye test. I see Stuart Skinner. I watch him obviously a lot more than I do Georgiev, so I'd probably pick Stuart Skinner. But I'm sure Avs fans are saying, no, I'd like to have. I'd take Georgiev or over.
Georgiev.
That's hard to say. Oh, my.
Let's go 2 soft J's.
Yeah.
Georgiev.
Yeah. But yeah, it's tough. It's 50-50. They're pretty solid goalies. You'd be happy to have either one of them.
Let's go with silent J's on this guy. Georgiev. No, just pretend the G's don't exist. Just get them right out there. Norman at Combine says lots of hand gestures from Dusty. He doesn't know what to do with them. Well, my hands are moving a lot because I'm talking to you. Or I'm not sitting here talking to Eric, like usually in the mornings. Kind of talking to the screen. So that's why the hands would be going a little bit. Kenworth Kelly is in. Tonight was a great game. Well played. Both goalies made some nice saves. Oilers got a point tonight against a team coming in red hot. I thought Nuge was going to win it on his breakaway. McKinnon was in beast mode once again. Can't wait to watch the rematch. So that's the thing. Load it up. Let's go again. This would be an amazing best-of-7 series. And, I think there's a pretty good chance that you might get Colorado and Edmonton in a conference final. I know Winnipeg will have something to say about that. Vancouver or Vegas will probably have something to say about that. But, my goodness, the pace that these two teams play with, man, and in the playoffs, it'd be cranked up even another notch, right? Which is why I think you have to be a little bit concerned about Desharnais.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just his feet. I thought the processor was a bit behind tonight.
And that's right? That's honestly, he hasn't been burned. He's learning from his mistakes, so he knows not to pinch nearly as much, right? But there's plays where it's the motor that's a little bit slower than his feet right now. And there's a couple blatant giveaways. I'm just like, what are you doing? And so and these are high pressure games, right? That's against the Colorado Avalanche. There's a lot of, hype about this game. So, it's not going to change in the playoffs. It's only going to get more ramped up. So, is Vinny the guy in the playoffs? He's probably going to be doing that a little bit more in the playoffs, Dusty. He is. So, it was a good test. They know what they got from him. They've been watching all season long. He has been getting better, but you have at least an option in Troy Stecher now. Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing, they might go that route next game.
We'll see. We'll see when when that matchup happens, what they decide to do on the blue line. With a bunch of other things to discuss from this game. We'll hear a little bit from the dressing room as well. We'll get to the player of the game a little bit later on as well. Barry's in and says, this team has what it takes to win the Stanley Cup. We can talk all day about needing this or needing that. This is the year. If they don't win, it's a failure, and there could be no excuses. They have the playoff experience. They have the depth. It's time for this team and organization to finally accomplish the ultimate goal. This is the cup or bust year. But you could say, last year, if they beat Vegas, I think they win the Stanley Cup. Last year was kind of a cup or bust year too, and they didn't get it. So you really want to see them kind of go after it this year. Guys, you can't say that Rico isn't making a difference. The depth he adds is invaluable. His PK is an asset. Yeah, well, that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to get to tonight as far as deadline additions that made an impact on the game tonight. Walker, yep, for sure. Middlestat set up the game-tying goal. Had some good jump when he had the puck. Carrick, what more do you need from Carrick? I mean, he scored a goal in the fourth line. How much did he play tonight? How much did Carrick play tonight? Let's see here. I'll bring it up right now. Give me 1 second. Carrick ended up playing 8 minutes tonight. 8.5 minutes. +1. 3 hits. Had 1 shot on goal and put it in the back of the net. I thought Henrique, as far as the bigger deadline pickups go, Middlestat, Walker, Carrick, and Henrique. You are right. Like Henrique, he's a good penalty killer, but I mean, they already had a bunch of good penalty killers. I wonder if there's more tempo to Adam Henrique's game. I feel like it's still kind of getting up to speed a little bit. I know he had a point there on Brown's goal a couple games ago, but I'd like to see a little bit more giddy up in his game. So I thought he made the least impact of the key deadline additions on both sides of the puck tonight. 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you are watching on YouTube tonight, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel as well. Adam Bodnerchuk says Henrique needs to do something. He does depth things well. You didn't give up a first-round pick for a depth guy. I don't think that was in the cards. So the depth guy was the throw-in in the deal in Carrick. You didn't give up a first-round pick for does some good depth things well. You're going to need a little bit more. You're going to need some more. And, he's still getting up to speed. Come playoff time, he could and should and hopefully will end up giving you more. I saw a great take from Tango in the nasty chat earlier. He said, Makar is better than Bouchard. All right, show's over. Yeah, of course. We had somebody on Oil Stream Friday, which I guess is just yesterday, saying that, Bouchard, you guys aren't, we were saying, like, Bouchard's having a great year, but Cale Makar as a defenseman is another tier ahead. And Makar is another tier ahead of like 98% of the defensemen in the National Hockey League. And this one guy was like, no, I think Bouchard is right there. And I said, listen, answer this question. Just answer this question. If you're starting, is there a horn out there right now?
I'm hearing something. Yeah,
Who's
someone's honking their horn.
Outside?
That's a first. I've never heard that.
11:18.
That's
like a private lot out
third
there.
time.
Lock the door, Trev. Actually, the front door is locked, so we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
You're starting a franchise today. Who are you taking? Cale Makar or Evan Bouchard? Poll 100 people on Family Feud. The number one answer is on the board. And there's only one answer. It's got 100% of the votes. It's Cale Makar. Nothing against Bouchard, but Cale Makar is a better defenseman. It's just that simple. We don't need to have that discussion. It's always going to be the case. Cale Makar is better than anybody on the Oilers blue line. And Cale Makar will be better than anybody that they face against Dallas. Nothing against Heiskanen. He'll be better than any defenseman they play against Winnipeg. Nothing against Morrissey. And Quinn Hughes. I mean, Quinn Hughes is having a phenomenal season. If I had to pick one of them, I'd still take Cale Makar. So, that's an advantage that they have.
There's things that only one other defenseman has done in NHL history better, like stats-wise, and a faster pace, is Bobby Orr, which is crazy because Bobby Orr was doing that, in the 70s, and Cale Makar is doing it right now, and you could argue a little bit harder, more tricky game. So it's incredible. We were talking about it in the pregame show. We watched tonight 4 of probably the best players in the world right now in NHL, with Leon Draisaitl, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, and Cale Makar, right? It's no question. He's probably, talking about defenseman, Dusty, you'd probably pick him more than for a lot of forwards. Like, that's how good he is. That's how valuable he is. It's just insane.
Yeah, I think even conservatively around the league, if you're like, name the top 10 players in the league, McKinnon, McDavid are automatics. Makar and Draisaitl are in there. And, Rantanen has just had back-to-back 90-point seasons. When we were watching the game tonight, I looked at Trev. I'm like, man, Rantanen is a load. Like, he's just a big, powerful dude. he'd be tough too. But nothing about tonight, nothing about this game tonight has changed how I would view a playoff series between these two teams. You could not have watched this game tonight if you were trying to be logical at all and gone, oh man, they're just not going to beat these guys. That can't be the case. The last 4 times they've met in the regular season, they've gone to overtime. That can't be the case. Did anything, Trev, that you watched tonight change how you would view a playoff series?
No. The Oilers just went toe-to-toe with one of, if not the best team in the NHL, you could argue. I watched them face the Calgary Flames on Tuesday, and they just all over them, Dusty. The whole 60 minutes. It was just, that's why tonight I was expecting the Oilers to just I thought it was going to be not even close. That's why it was a good test. It's really good to see how close they are with, in my opinion, the best team in the NHL. They just came back. I thought the Oilers played the Colorado Avalanche way better than the Vancouver Canucks played them recently, which was, I forget what day that was, but they looked so good. The difference from last year's Oilers playing against the Colorado Avalanche compared to tonight, I thought it was just crazy difference. They looked that much more mature. They're learning from their mistakes. They're not making as many mistakes. The Colorado Avalanche are obviously going to bring it, which we saw. I talked about their intensity. They're going to bring it. And it all starts with Nathan MacKinnon. And they kind of matched it. They really did. They just went, so no, they went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the world. I'm actually happy. I'm happy that it was that close. And it really could have went either way. If Nugent Hopkins scores in the OT, we're talking about OT dub right now. So, it was a good game and a good test, and they're that close, Dusty. They really are.
This doesn't change. If the Oilers and Avs play in a playoff series, one of the two teams is going to win in 6 or 7 games. That's it. I can't even tell you who. Half people will pick Colorado, half the people will pick Edmonton. It's going to come down to some key moments in some hockey games. Tonight, this game came down to Bouchard essentially thinking overtime was over and letting up and allowing MacKinnon to make a play, and Lehkonen beating Leon Draisaitl to the front of the net. Right? That a series between these two teams are just going to come down to 1 or 2 moments every single game. And it's just a matter of which goaltender steps up in those moments or who's more special, MacKinnon or McDavid. One of the guys was in and says, tonight shows how important depth is. But did it? Yeah, Sean Walker had a couple of goals for you. The Oilers got a goal from their 4th line. That didn't, my opinion on the depth of these two teams didn't change tonight. So what do you got? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Dusty, it was an amazing, high-paced game, but I'm not sure why all the crapping on the refs. To me, the venom should be directed at Toronto War Room that took away Hyman's goal. He didn't deliver, he kicked it in. Oh, boy, I'll get to this. Come on, man. Drouin kicked his leg, which directed the puck in. Major turning point. Ken, come on, man. No, Drouin's leg was around there. But you think Drouin's leg moved Hyman's entire leg in a kicking motion to kick that puck into the net? Please. Come on, Ken. You're killing me. That was one of the easiest calls to make the entire season. It was. Zach Hyman knew it. You could tell the look on his face right away. He's like, oh, man, that would have been a huge goal. That was not. Give me every angle. Give me all 20 angles. Every single time. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, Hyman kicked that puck in. Come on, man. You're killing me, Ken. You're killing me. That was as, Elizabeth is 7 years old. I would have put that in her hands. She would have looked at it and gone, and she loves Hyman. She would have been like, Daddy, he kicked it in. What are you talking about, Ken? That was the most obvious review of all time. I'm sure the ref called the War Room and was like, hey, what do you think? The War Room probably said, go F yourself. It's clearly, why are you even calling us right now? Open your own bloody eyes. It was clearly kicked in. You should have waved it off in the first place. Ken. My goodness. All right. 780-218-9999. Fort Rass Science says, Hyman kicked the puck in, but Drouin did kick his legs out from underneath him. Should have been a penalty. That's not going to be a penalty in that situation either, man. Okay, it was called correctly. It was called two guys engaged in a battle around the edge of the net. Hyman's tied up. Kicks it right in. Once again, 11:25 on a Saturday night. I'm not sitting here arguing the most obvious goal to call back of all time. I can't do it.
That was good.
I mean,
that was good from Ken. I don't know if he's teasing us or just trying to get us going, but it worked. And
that's a good point, Ken. If you were trying to be hilarious, one of the funniest things I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, that got me chuckling. That was good.
Yeah,
that was the quickest call I've ever seen, Dusty. Like, we saw it first. It was like, okay, well, that's getting called back. And before we know it,
right away.
It was a distinct kicking motion. That will not be a goal.
First replay was like, oh, yeah, that was clearly a kick. And a really good, solid kick, too. He got a lot of it. All right, he got a lot of it. So that was nice. Fish Tank says Perry kicked a beauty pass. Yes, he did. And even Trev said there, he goes, pull a trick out of Hyman's bag.
Yeah.
And that's
he actually got some pretty good heat on that. I was very surprised. And talking about depth, that's another additions that the Oilers got. Yeah, that wasn't bad. So good for Perry. Got the puck for his 900th career point. That's why he was taking the puck. It wasn't. That's
why he snagged the puck.
It wasn't for Carrick's first goal as an Oiler.
James says Dusty's pro slew foot, I guess. Oh my God, you guys, you're freaking out. I said right off the top here, there's no reason to freak out over this game. They went toe-to-toe with the Colorado Avalanche and lost by 0.5 seconds in overtime. And I was actually, as we were sitting there, and I was like, man, I don't want this thing to end in a shootout. You know, that would have been really bad for a game of that pace with the moments that it had to end in a shootout. So major buzzkill that it ended the way that it ended. But, yeah. 780-218-9999. 780-218-9999. Guys, Nuge, Brown, and Bouchard with 0 hits. Not acceptable for a playoff-like game. Yeah, I mean, sure. If that bothers you tonight, then that's fine. I'm not sure I'm really expecting Bouchard to go out and clobber people like he's Manson on the other side of the ice. I mean, you look for Bouchard to provide offense for you. He had 8 shots on goal tonight and had an assist. So, yeah. I think so. James says I should have put a winky face in there. Sorry, James. I'm fired up right now. Ken's got me so fired up on this kicking thing. I don't know who's joking, who's not. I don't do postgame. I don't know who's in here with like hilarious jokes every postgame or just really awful takes. So I'm trying to sort through these on a Saturday night here. Keep those text messages rolling in as well. Dolphin Nation says, Dusty, take a breath. You're working too much. I like to slide in for the odd post game, man. If I could do post games, I'd do post games. It's just that'd be a lot of work. It'd be a lot of work. Guys, people are forgetting that the Oilers got a point at least. It's not like it was in regulation. Exactly. They got a point tonight. The only reason I would think you should be fired up about anything is if now the Oilers can't do it. Colorado still could sweep these 3 games. If the Oilers were to lose all 3 to Colorado, then I'd be like, oh, man, do they have what it takes to beat them 4 out of 7? But I'm assuming, the Oilers will win the next one, and then the third one will be super tight, and somebody will probably squeak one out late. And you're really not going to have much of a better read on the Oilers and Avs than what you think you might have got out of tonight's game. So let's get to this one from Al today. Nice long text here from Al. Those appreciated on the post game for sure. We already got some. You moved quick on this post game audio too, right?
They were super quick tonight.
All right. Well, maybe. Well, it is late. Everyone wants to get home to bed, right? We'll get. Who do we have tonight? Who do we got?
Got Leon Draisaitl, Stuart Skinner, Sam Carrick, and Chris Noblock.
Okay, so we'll do Drysdale and Noblock for sure.
Okay.
How long's Carrick? Don't worry about it. We probably won't do it anyway.
Let's see.
If it's quick, maybe we'll fit it in.
We got 3 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know if we need 3 minutes of Carrick tonight. Congratulations
on your first goal tonight, Dusty. You're going to rob him for that?
Oh, I mean, I want to hear what Draisaitl has to say. And I want to hear what the head coach has to say as well. Colorado scored 3 goals tonight. Leon Draisaitl was -3. So I want to hear what Leon Draisaitl has to say tonight. Mostly what I actually want to hear are the questions that people ask Leon Draisaitl tonight.
I was going to say we might have pissy Leon tonight. We'll see. Oh, yeah. And it's OT loss, so
it could be a pretty interesting discussion, I think, on that one. So we'll definitely hear from that as well. But Al texts in today and says, Dusty CC, as per usual, was horrendous. Henrique was equally terrible. Henrique was on the ice for 13 high danger chances against and won 4. Thanks for passing that along. I did not know. But I did say earlier, Carrick made an impact on the game. Walker made the biggest impact on the game. And I thought Mittelstadt was good. Henrique was the least impactful of the big 4, I guess, additions, if you want to call them that, prior to the game. He goes, that's almost all the high danger chances the Avs had. CC, big mistake not upgrading him. He's been outscored 15-3 in playoff rounds. The Oilers were eliminated in. He continues to be bottom of the league in rush chances against, high danger chances against, puck retrievals, and zone exits. Holland gets paid $5 million a year to make this team better. Not to listen to players who want to play with their buddies. Oh, by the way, losing by 0.5 seconds is still a loss. If it's not a regulation loss, still got a point out of it. It's a Gary Bettman loss. 3 points awarded for this game tonight, as opposed to 2 for regular games. Anyway, I love Al being fired up. Al, I'm not going to agree with a lot of stuff, but I love your passion, and you use the stats to back it up, which I got time for. There.
Show your work.
Love it when people show their work.
Yeah, that was good. And those stats were very nice.
All right, let's continue with a couple of text messages here. Dry, MacD, Nugs, horrible back checks on all 3 goals. Thought we took care of these defensive issues. What say you? Right, but you're not going to get a shutout every single game. But, I mean, the big guys were on the ice for goals against tonight. So, McKinnon is a freak, though. That wrister, that snapshot he had in the third, it's not very often somebody shoots a puck and you're watching a National Hockey League game and you don't know where it went. You're just like, I didn't even see that thing come off his stick. Like, McKinnon is, I don't think at Edmonton we give McKinnon enough love. Like, he is ridiculous.
It's an absolute treat to watch him shoot the puck. Like, with the flick of the wrist, the momentum, the power that he possesses with his shot, it's otherworldly. And I was talking, I don't know what it is. It's about, some righties. It's a righty thing. Like, it's their snapshot. I've never seen anything like it, but watching it in the All-Star game, it just how fast he can get it off, and watching it all season long, he doesn't have to do much, Dusty. He literally doesn't. He doesn't wind up, but he gets more power. He gets power more, like it gets. It's hard to put into words just how insane his shot is. So yeah, watching that, it went bar down, or it went post up and out. Like, it's just you can't track it. It's crazy, and he's been doing it like so much this season. It's a treat. It really is.
Norman Combine says, Dusty will be peeling that hoodie. That studio is hot. I'm actually using the studio and the hoodie tonight like a guy who's training for a fight, and he's running in a sauna in a black garbage bag. That's what I'm doing tonight. I already had half this Gatorade, which, by the way, I had no idea. I told Trev about this. I went to the corner store over here that's got a Tim Hortons in a gas station, and it was like 9:20. And I go up. The door's locked. Some lady in the till over here goes, I can help you over here, sir. I said, what? And I go over, I said, are you open or closed? She goes, well, she didn't really tell me. She's like, the door's not open, so I assume you're closed. She's like, but I can help you. What do you want? And I said, well, I take a G2. So she brings me over 2 regular Gatorades. I said, I didn't say 2 Gs. I said a G2. But I didn't want to bother her, so I said, give me one of these. And then she has to put it in this door, and the Interact machine gets pushed out to me, and I have to tap it, then it goes back in. Then she puts, I've never seen that before.
That's weird.
It was 9:20. I was just like, what's going on here?
Yeah, this part of town, I know there's a few corner stores downtown that I've been to.
Yeah, but this part of town's not that bad then.
Yeah, no, I was very sick, because I went there a week ago, and I was like, they're closed? It's 9 o'clock?
I know.
But
really
apparently that's what they do here, so that's what it was.
It's a good Gatorade, though. That's keeping me going. That's keeping me going tonight. All right, your reaction, 780-218-9999. 78. See, this is it. X-Ray J. And X-Ray J says some ridiculous things sometimes. We love you, X-J Ray. I mean, you're on all of our shows. But sometimes you'll say things, I'm always like, oh, X-Ray J, what have you said here? But this is right. This is what it was tonight. X-Ray J says, X-Ray J, you don't have to say in your own text, X-Ray J says. I can usually do that for you. But X-Ray J says it was mostly an excellent game by two tremendous teams. We are blessed. That's what it was tonight. The entire country, some of them more later than us, stayed up to watch these two teams go at it tonight. And, of course, watch Scott Oak with Evan Bouchard after the game. It was terrific. Absolutely tremendous. All right. Ooh. Let's read this text. Well, I'm not going to read all of the text, but I'll read part of the text. Dry is the laziest player on this team by a far margin. You don't win a cup with Draisaitl. The guy is just a grenade. He's having a bad season. He's throwing muffins out everywhere. He's so bad and contributing to a massive amount of goals against. Hashtag time to move Leon. See, so this is where I come back around to when Connor Brown scored, everybody's like, what an amazing place to play for players. And then they play a great game against Colorado 2 nights later, and people are like, trade Leon Draisaitl now. Come on. I think Eric described it Friday morning. It's an aquarium here. Everything's under the radar. Fans are great when it's great, and fans are tough on you when it's not going well. Take the good with the bad. If you can do that, you probably do like playing here. But, after this game to be rolling in and saying, time to move Leon. And I didn't even like his game tonight, but that's still such an overreaction to what's going on here. Oh, boy.
I'm shaking my head on that one. This
is what you guys have to deal with after every single game?
Yeah, for the most part.
I like it. I like it. I'm fired up right now.
All it takes, though, is for Leon Draisaitl to get maybe 3 points the next game, look a little bit better, and then we're like, well, keep him. And obviously you're going to keep him. One of the best. Yeah, he can look lazy at times, but when Draisaitl's rolling, he's hard to stop. He's pretty well unstoppable. So no, you do need playoffs or players like him, especially in playoffs. Do you not remember what he did? He was second. I think he finished second in goals scored in last year's playoffs, and he was out second round. Like, it was crazy. He couldn't not score. It was impressive. So no, you need. He shows up even more in the playoffs. You need a player like Leon Draisaitl.
This nasty chat is in. We're gonna get to Leon's postgame in 1 sec. I can't get to that without reading this. The Tehe77 says Colby Cohen called for the Oil to move Leon. Well, if Colby Cohen says it has to happen, then I guess it has to happen. Let's hear Leon Draisaitl's postgame tonight.
Seemed the margin for error was pretty slim in a competitive night.
Yeah, it was a tight game. Thought played well for the most part. Yeah, just need a little, half a second more awareness at the end of the game there.
You get a thought on Stuart Skinner? Obviously, he's stood tall for you guys, made a lot of saves today.
Yeah, he was great. He's been great for a long time now, so give us a chance.
How much confidence do you guys does it give you when he's playing that way, when he's on this game?
Yeah, it's huge. That's your backbone of your team, right? So you got lots of trust in him and Pixie as well. So yeah, they've been great for us.
Yeah, do you feel that maybe you guys passed up some good opportunities tonight? You had chances to shoot.
Yeah, they're a fast team. They limit you to chances, right? Thought we had enough looks to potentially win the game, but that's how these tight games go, right? It's a split second where I lost my guy there and the game's over. So, but all in all, I thought it was a good game.
Do you feel that was somewhat close to a playoff type of game?
Yeah, for sure. It always is against their group. It's as close to a playoff game as it's going to get. So, yeah, it's a good point, but obviously would have liked to get the 2.
When it's played that fast, like from upstairs, it looked like the fastest game we've watched in a long time. Did it feel like that on the ice?
Yeah, it was a good pace game. Like I said, they're a fast team. So are we, though. So, yeah, two really good teams going at it.
A lot of different line matching and players moving around. Did you get a sense of like that, throughout the course of the game and just how small the margins of error are in a game like this?
Yeah, it's very small. Like I said, it's as close as it's going to get to a playoff game. So obviously there's a lot of maneuvering and line juggling and matching and all that kind of stuff. But we got a lot of great players on our team that can handle that.
There you go, Leon Drysdale. You heard him say he lost his guy on the winner, and that was it. It was a really close hockey game. Like this text. This is the first time this person's ever texted in. So thank you very much. I don't know if you're listening on iHeart or on TuneIn, you're watching on YouTube, and just decide to text in 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. I'll take a 7-game series of this any day. Exactly. All tonight's game did. What is you want to see this? You want to see these teams play 7? Can you imagine a game 7? Like nothing against games 1 through 6, but can you imagine game 7 between these two teams? My goodness. That would be great. Kieran Farrell's in the Nasty Chan says, maybe bring in a guy that wants to do the post-game show. Oh, I like doing the post-game show, Kieran. You must have me confused. I just don't have time for people texting in after tonight's game and being like, time to move Leon. Well, they only lost tonight because of the officials. Hyman didn't kick that in. Like, I'm sorry to sit here and have a realistic discussion with everyone tonight. What a shame. Tough to do that. 780-218-9999. I like the suggestion of somebody saying we should have a fax machine on the desk and people can send in faxes.
I like that.
I don't want one on the desk. I want like a slit in the desk right here. And the faxes just come straight up through the middle. I'm like, oh, a fax. And it's just, that'd be really funny, actually. I like that. I think that's really good. That would be really
We could have
funny.
some fun with that.
I wonder if you could do that. Like, we have power going to this desk, so. I mean, first of all, nobody sends faxes anymore anyway, do they? What would be cool is if we could set up a printer underneath the desk that would print pages up through the desk, and I could just print off text messages from here that were really good. And we go, oh, we got a real good one. And then we pick it up, and that's something to
pick and choose. That
that's
would
something
be,
to look at, I think.
I think the viewers would really like that. They'd be like, hey, that's mine coming in right now.
Yeah,
Let's see
mine,
what he says. Are you going to read it?
I hope it's mine.
You didn't read it.
Mine. Andy Pandy's in and says, Dusty, tell that listener to shut the F up. Leon stays. He drives the play. He'll be a star in the playoffs again like he does every year. What a muppet that listener is. Andy Pandy, we're not coming in here late on a Sunday night and dropping M-bombs out here. A muppet? Whew. Everybody needs to calm down. This text is in. Leon has the highest point per game in the playoffs of anyone since 1990. His offensive production in playoffs cannot be questioned. Over the last few years, the odd time, it's like defensive decision that's been questioned. But, what'd you say? We were sitting here watching the game tonight. What'd you say about Leon?
Leon, this was this week. It might have been adjusted since, but it was like a Sportsnet. I was looking at their story on Instagram, and Leon Draisaitl, he leads the league in takeaways, but he also leads the league in giveaways. So
Both ways.
it's kind of, he makes up for it, and then he doesn't.
The good and the bad.
Yeah. But no, do you not forget what he did to the Vegas Golden Knights last year? And to the Los Angeles Kings? It's impressive. It's super impressive what he does in the playoffs. Still to this day, the best hockey I've ever seen from individual players ever, and it might be that way for the rest of my life, was Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl against the Calgary Flames. When Leon Draisaitl put up 18 points in a 5-game span, that's Gretzky numbers. So it's super impressive. His value only, he shows up way more in the playoffs, and at least he has previously. So yeah, Dusty, you need a Leon. I don't know what you're going on about. I don't get it.
780-218-9999. Guys, so we all remember Leon 2 years ago, is what I'm hearing. I'm not trying to go either of you. I'm a listener every day. But he's not dominant, Leon, this year, at all. He's more chaotic than he actually helps this year's fellas. So I don't think you can say Leon Draisaitl is so chaotic he's not helping the team this year. Is he having an outstanding season by Leon standards? I mean, how many points is this guy going to finish with?
Over 100.
He's gonna have more than 100 points this season. That's still gonna be one of the top 10 seasons in the National Hockey League this year. The end of that text where it says he's more chaotic than he actually helps this year. Are you trying to tell me that he hurts this team more than he helps them? Because once again, I mean, let's just pump the brakes on this conversation tonight.
When you have players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and year in and year out, they're putting up monster numbers, you kind of expect that to always be the case. But, if Nugent Hopkins has the points that Leon Draisaitl has right now, you're going to be like, wow, he's just unbelievable. He's just doing so good this year. So it's kind of, you expect that. You expect, he had 130 points last season. You expect that, but it's so tough. He's still having a monster year. It's just because you're expecting way more, but it's still a really good season, Dusty.
Patio Furniture, hilarious handle, horrible message. Patio Furniture says, Draisaitl is a liability. Look, man, could Draisaitl have played better tonight? Yeah, I think he probably could have. But to describe Leon freaking Draisaitl, who does, I'm not huge Leon guy here. He does frustrate me a little bit with the piss poor language sometimes and stuff. But he's a monster. Like he's an absolute monster. And I think come playoff time, he elevates his game to another level. And he does engage a little bit more defensively come playoff time. To say he's a liability. I mean, are you all effing with me right now? Is that what this is? Is this some it's a fill-in on the postgame show? Let's pull his leg. Because it's not working. Some stranger says, Leon's turnovers are frustrating. 100%. That I can agree with. He needs to stop. As Trev just said, leads the league in giveaways. Leads the league in takeaways as well. Leon giveth, Leon taketh away. I mean, that's what happens. But, tonight he had that one backhand pass. What did I say? I was just like, man, he's got to stop throwing blind back. When it works, you're like, ooh. And Spittin' Chicklets retweets it. But how many times does it not work? And you're like, oh, man, that could come back to cost you at some point. So there's probably a little bit of risk in Leon's game that you'd like to see taken out come playoff time. I'm not sitting here saying he's a perfect player by any stretch of the imagination. But I think some of this slander is taken a little bit too far tonight, you guys.
Part of that risk is what makes him an unbelievable player, because no one's really doing those plays. When they do work, those backhand passes, the saucer passes, the no-look passes, you're just like, wow, that is insane. But yeah, obviously he does it a few times, so he thinks he can do it all the time. That's not the case. But it's what separates him from most. No one else is completing any of those passes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of guys don't even have that trick in their bag, let alone to try it and actually have it work a bunch. So you've got that going for you. They're saying it's the substitute teacher treatment. Man, I don't know. I guess I was just a different kid, but I was really nice when the subs came in. I don't know. That's just me. I never tried to do hilarious things to substitute teachers. Plus, I'm married to a substitute teacher right now.
I'd always switch the names up with the boys.
Oh, would you do that?
We get those going. Yeah, I'm Ben.
Yeah,
I'm Ben.
Yeah, you thought it was hilarious?
Yeah, and they're like...
And these teachers are looking at you being like, what a bunch of little shitheads. That's what they're thinking right now. That's too good. That's too good. Those teachers must have just been like, man, what is going on here? All right, 780-218-9999. The one thing that, and we're going to hear from Noblock coming up, but I do want your thoughts on this. Reasonable thoughts, please. Or ridiculous thoughts. I'll probably rip you. But send us your reasonable thoughts on gets to the third period, 1-0 hockey game, and they did end up taking a 2-1 lead. But gets to the third period in a 1-0 hockey game, and McDavid and Draisaitl go together. And I mean, tonight it doesn't matter. I ask you the question. In a series against Colorado, are you going to try the whole, we'll set them apart, and then in every game that gets close, they'll just go together now? Or are you going to just play them together against Colorado? Because they had some great shifts in the third period. Now, with that being said, Draisaitl was on the ice for 3 goals against tonight and none the other way. And McDavid was out there for 2 of them. And you got goals from Fogle and Carrick. So the other 2 lines worked and paid off. But what do you do? And I'll ask this question. Then we'll get to Noblock. Then we'll come back. How late do we go here, Trev? What do we go to?
Usually an hour. So
Well, we might be a little bit over an hour tonight.
okay.
But, I mean, we're kind of cruising here. The chat is
I'm having a lot of
chat
fun.
is hilarious. I don't know when I get to
always
do a
have
post game
fun.
again. So, let's go. What do you do with McDavid and Draisaitl against Colorado in a playoff series? Do you play them together and go head-to-head with Nathan MacKinnon? Do you play them together and try to keep them away from Nathan MacKinnon? Do you split them up and you put Draisaitl against MacKinnon or McDavid against MacKinnon and let the other one roam free against Casey Middlestad? What do you do? 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, or hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Here's Chris Noblock after the game tonight.
You saw on that winning goal.
There's just a little more time on the clock than we anticipated, and we just missed that puck, breaking it up twice. Once in the corner, once in the front. We're just a little short, and tough way to lose it.
Yeah, and Vinny Desharnais didn't play much at all in that third period. Just wanted to get your thoughts on his night tonight.
Yeah, we're just going to evaluate him with his health. We'll see. Hopefully it's not major, and we're just being cautious.
So there could be an injury from the fight?
There could be.
Okay.
Chris, just maybe a thought on the pace of play tonight. Some of the matchups that you had going with Leon against MacKinnon, how you think that was going, and just kind of the overall speed that we saw.
Yeah, that was the intention of playing Leon against MacKinnon for the night. There was a few shifts in the first period after penalties, or maybe a ozone face-off that we put McDavid and Leon together. And, when they were out there together, they generated most of our offense in the early part of our game. So as we went on, we reunited those 3 just to provide a little more offense. And, in this third period, I thought it was by far our best period. I shouldn't say by far, but it was our best period, generating things. But, I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, next time we play them, at home or there, obviously I think there's some questions or things that the coaching staff has a lot to discuss.
You loaded McDavid and Draisaitl onto a line together later for that matchup. What did you think of that look, and why did you make that decision?
Just in the second period, I think we, early in the second period, I thought it was a good start. And then I think after I'm not sure when it was, but I think after they scored their goal. Early on, before that, we had some really good looks. We had the power play, put one through the crease, goal post, a couple other looks there. Then when they scored the goal, then I thought we were flat. I don't think we did very much in the later half of the second period, and just looked like we needed to get some offense, and especially with the way the game was going, putting your top 3 guys offensively together. Initially, it's worked out well, and unfortunately, it was a goal that got disallowed. But that's what we were thinking.
Chris, can you give us a thought just on Stuart Skinner and just his play today, and just how much confidence his team has in him and how well he's playing?
Yeah, we've got a lot of confidence in him, and that confidence isn't just because of the way he's been playing for a week or 2. It's been for 3 or 4 months, and so it's nice having him in the net. And when he's not there, Pix is obviously a guy that we have confidence in too. But goaltending is it's a strength for the Edmonton Oilers right now.
Chris, you guys generated a lot of odd man rushes and odd man situations even at times, and didn't get a lot of shots from the. At times, you think you guys might have overpassed some of your good looks, and do you want to see a few more shots there on goal?
When it doesn't work out, you always say, "Yeah, we should have had taken the shot, not the pass." But a lot of times, you make that extra pass, and it makes it so much more difficult for the goalie. And you can't. It's a trend that happens too much, then it's something we need to address, or is it just one time where a couple times it didn't work out? I don't think any time that was like we passed up excellent opportunities, but it's just disheartening when you have a good opportunity to score and nothing happens of it. But it's, I guess you got to play the percentages.
That's a good, deep team that rolls lines. Late in the game, you had a bench full of useful players you were still going to. Was it a bit of an encouraging sign just how usable all your guys were, considering how the caliber of that game?
Oh, absolutely. You look at our fourth line with Carrick, Perry, Janmark, and they scored a really big goal for us. And they had some big shifts in the third period, and yeah, that's what we need going forward, is all the lines playing well.
That result notwithstanding, because they don't have 3-on-3 in the playoffs anyway, is this reason for optimism for where you guys are at with the playoffs coming?
Well, there's things that we need to address, we need to get better at, and but we think we can play with anybody in this league. We feel like we're a good team, and tonight I'm not sure that was our best. I thought we played really well against a good team, but we'll need to get better, and we've got a few more weeks to do that before playoffs start.
Having go down to 5D for the third, how did you feel like your 5 kind of handled things?
Well, I think they can handle it. I think that when you have a good group of defense, guys can step up and play more minutes, especially for a short period of time. And you look at, especially Darnell. Darnell can play a lot more minutes. Tonight, I think we relied on him a lot more in that situation. Bouchard played a lot of, he ended up about 26, maybe 27 minutes tonight. A lot of that extra with the overtime. But, I thought they handled it well.
Was this one of those games where the Stars kind of equaled each other out, and yet they get 2 goals from a defenseman? Was the tying goal something you didn't like, coming in late behind people?
I think everyone coming to the game tonight was anticipating a McDavid-McKinnon offensive show, and I don't think either one was on the score sheet. But that's where good teams find ways to score, and you need your depth. And we found our depth in the third period with the Carrick line finding a goal and Fogle scoring to get us on the board. And, they found their depth with their defense jumping up and getting some offense there.
A couple of things that he said there. One, McKinnon was clearly on the score sheet. I mean, he set up the winner by making a good play late. But he said something in there that some of you might want to hear tonight, but it's just the truth. I also said, Desharnais might be injured, so maybe we do see Stetcher here for a little bit. He also said, his words, not mine, so Tommy can't freak out here, we can play with anybody. And he's right. Like, I know some of you, the doom and gloom, it's like, but the Edmonton Oilers can play with anybody. The Edmonton Oilers have been the best team in the league for end of November, December, January, February, March. Like 4 months, the Oilers have been the best team in the league. They can play with anybody. They could have very well, if Nuge scores tonight, tonight's conversation is completely different, right, Trev? Like I
was just going to say.
Nuge buries it and boom.
The outlook on tonight's game, it really just depended on one goal. Like, are these people saying Draisaitl needs to go? If Nuge scores there,
people always want to trade Draisaitl.
Yeah, but like it really, one goal is, and like that's just a huge. It's a great takeaway. It's a great takeaway. You're playing against the best, like I said. It's not a problem. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Natay77 says, Avs have killer instinct. Oilers not sure. Once again, the Oilers have been the best team in the league for 4 months. They've had some killer instinct along the way. They've dealt the final blow more often than not over the last 4 months. 3 stars tonight. Sean Walker in a classic twist. And Walker almost buried it too. Both teams with breakaways in overtime. Skinner was your second star tonight. Georgiev was your third star tonight with a 941. Skinner at a 930. And you'll need Skinner to play both these teams. I mean, either one of these goalies could still get rattled in a series, and the other team just rolls. I could see that happening with either one of these guys. Tonight, they were both excellent. Trev, do we get to the player of the game now? Is this where we go next?
Yeah, your call. If you're ready for it,
let's get into it. Who's your player of the game tonight?
Do you want to do the call? Or you probably don't have the...
I don't even have the call. But it's probably for Damon Bunting, who's an absolutely wonderful man. If you're buying and selling, Damon Bunting's your guy. Hop online, www.damonbunting.com.
Right on. That'd be Dusty. Man, I'm actually kind of just scrambling here. I'm not going to lie. I forgot about the Damon Bunting player of the game, but
It's your only job, Trev.
you know what? Yeah. That's fair. Well, I usually when Tommy and Maddie are talking, I'm like, I'll pick it now. But
We were engaged pretty much the entire night. So,
So you know what? I
you gonna
will.
go with? Do you always do you go with somebody outside of the 3 stars,
I could. It's free
or could you
range.
go with a 3 star
I
if you
could.
wanted?
I
I'm just saying, could you go with Skinner tonight? Was Skinner the best player tonight?
I was gonna say Skinner or Carrick. He got his first as an Oiler, but I mean he didn't really. Yeah, it's his first goal, so he probably. You know what? We're giving it to Stuart Skinner. He's just been consistent all season long. We've talked at length. He's just a really, really good goalie, and he is. And people talk about how amazing he is on the ice. He's just as amazing off the ice. He kept them in it tonight. It was one shot that went in. He would have wanted to have it back, but I mean Stuart Skinner. He's been lights out for the majority of the season, since the turn of the season, way back since we launched the 6 o'clock logger. He's just been one of the best goalies in the league. So Stuart Skinner. Sorry, wasn't the best. Damon Bunting player of the game there, but you got it tonight, so good job, man.
Yeah, Damon Bunting's a good dude. If you want to sell or buy a home with one of just the best people in the city, Damon Bunting's your guy. www.damonbunting.com. See, this is interesting. Where is it here? Let me bring it up. Yeah, Ace 96 says, well, at least the Oilers got a good view of where they are at, really, versus a true top contending team. Yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be like a shot or if it's like, because the Oilers are also a true top contending team. So Colorado tonight also got a good look at where they're at. And it ended up being a very evenly played hockey game. So yes, if you view the Colorado Avalanche as a true Stanley Cup contender, then the Edmonton Oilers tonight prove that they are a true Stanley Cup contender because they lost in a 3-on-3 scrimmage with 0.5 seconds left. Okay? It was a really good hockey game tonight between two really good teams. I might have to bump Tommy for the other 2 Colorado-Edmonton games because I just want this conversation to continue. Like, I want to roll back in after the next game and just get fired up again. I've decided to do this to wrap tonight. I've got my 3 favorite things that happened on the postgame show tonight.
Oh,
and by 3, I mean the 3 most bloody ridiculous things that happened on the postgame show tonight. In no specific order, these were the best things that I saw tonight on the postgame show. Guy with black belt threatening to beat people up in the nasty chat. That's got to be top 3. That has to be top 3. Len or Ken, I don't want to slight Lenzo there. Ken saying that the Hyman goal should have counted.
That was good. That was really good.
And then, of course, people claiming Leon Draisaitl should be traded because he's a liability. Ladies and gentlemen, your Oil Stream postgame show. Straight fire from start to finish.
Great job, Dusty.
I don't know which one was more ridiculous. Black belt guy or Ken who said the Hyman goal should have counted. Those are both great.
I chuckled more at the Hyman one.
Yeah.
If he's being serious, because there was nothing.
I never went back. I never went back and saw if he texted in again. But
anything more obvious in my life. That was like Corey Perry, his assist. He was just full power.
Yeah. It was clearly a kick. Acting like Duran was a marionette guy with his legs. He's controlling. He's like, oh, come on, man. And this is on you, Louis DeBrusque. You should have never mentioned the first place. Because a bunch of people are like, oh, well, Lou said it. Even Lou went back and was like, no.
He was teetering on it. He was like, yeah, you look, Drew. And then they called it. They were like, no, it was no goal. And he was like, yeah, no, he kicked it in.
Colin Smith says, McKinnon's off the post could have ended in regulation. I would have liked to have seen them hold under 2 goals, under 25 shots, but it is what it is. Yeah, but how many times could the Oilers have ended things in regulation? You know what I mean? Like, it was a well-played, evenly played hockey game between 2 Stanley Cup contenders. We can't say anything else. That's it. I got to go to bed. My kids are going to be up in like 6 hours.
Yep.
We're not losing an hour of time tonight or anything, are we?
No, we're not.
Okay,
so
good.
You'll be good.
Phew. All right, that's going to do it for us. For YouTube Trev, I'm Dustin Nielson. It was fun sliding on in here. Tommy Gazzola will be back at it at Hudson's, at Bourbon Street on Tuesday for the game against the Montreal Canadiens. So make plans to join Tommy at West Edmonton Mall on Tuesday. He's got a fat stack of GCs like this for you. Just swing on down and ask him nicely. All right, for YouTube Trev, I am Nielson. Thank you very much. Oilers, get a point against a really good team. Have a good night.